Okay, the purpose of this video is to take a closer look at Yehudah's speech at the end of Perek Mem Daled. That's the speech in which he begs Yosef to allow Binyamin to go back to Israel, despite the fact that Binyamin was caught stealing Yosef's goblet. We looked at the speech and we tried to develop the following argument. We argue that, at face value, the simple pshat of Yehudah's speech has Yehudah speaking respectfully towards Yosef, and yet we further argued that when we look at various midrashim that Rashi quotes, that Rashi presents as his own views, Rashi digs a bit deeper into Yehudah's speech and argues that this speech, which at face value is very respectful, in fact is somewhat rude or threatening towards Yosef. So let's take a look at the speech first. Excuse me. Go over here. We see starting pasuk Yud Chet, Vayigash elav Yehudah, V'yomer bi Adoni. Yehudah says, "Please, my master." Look at the way he's speaking to Yosef. Please, my master. Please, sir. Al yichar rabcha be'avdecha. Don't be angry at your servant. So, much like today, sometimes if someone speaks to a great rabbi, instead of saying, "What do you think?" they might say, "What does the Rav think? What does the Rosh Yeshiva think?" So, in that same way, Yehudah doesn't even say you to Yosef. He keeps saying, "Sir, my master, Adoni." He even says, "Ki chamocha kifaro." Like you is like Paro. You're like Paro. So he's acknowledging that Yosef is almost as powerful as Paro. Moreover, by him saying, "Please don't be angry," it's like sometimes when people will say something and they'll say, "With all due respect, I don't mean any disrespect. Please forgive me for asking this." Right? Say, "Al yichar rabcha be'avdecha." Please don't be angry at your servant. Please don't be angry at me, Yehudah. He's trying to diffuse any situation in which Yosef, whom he thinks is this powerful Egyptian official, Yehudah's trying to diffuse any situation in which Yosef will blow up at him. And so Yehudah knows what he's saying might be seen as challenging Yosef's authority. He's asking for Yosef not to punish Binyamin. And so he begins by saying, "Al yichar rabcha be'avdecha." Charon af means anger. Don't let your charon af, don't let your anger turn against me. Please don't be upset at what I'm going to say. So in all these ways, using names like Adoni, my master, please my master, please don't be angry, I'm your servant, you're like Paro. Literally every fragment of the pasuk, of pasuk Yud Chet, seems to be designed for Yehudah to come across as respectfully as possible towards Yosef. However, things are never that simple. So we pointed out in our in-class assignment that Rashi on this pasuk tries to dig a little bit deeper and argues that in truth, Yehudah actually was implying things that were very harshly critical of Yosef, even threatening Yosef. Rashi tells us as follows. First of all, Al yichar rabcha. Yehudah says to Yosef, please don't be angry. Says Rashi, Mikan ata lamed shediber elav kashot. From there you see that Yosef spoke literally hard stuff. I think in more precise English would say Yehudah spoke harshly. Diber elav kashot. After all, the only reason someone says to somebody, please don't be offended by what I'm about to say. Please don't let my comment anger you. Please don't take any disrespect from my comments. You only say those things if what you were about to say would anger the person or would make the person feel disrespected. So says Rashi, by Yehudah offering this sort of conciliatory opening, please don't be angry. I don't want to make you upset. That basically tells you that everything else about Yehudah's body language, tone, and especially the substance of what he was going to say, Diber elav kashot, it was all very harsh. And so really, this Yehudah who's trying to sort of diplomatically say to the number 2 official in Egypt that he shouldn't be angry, really, beneath the surface, Yehudah is raging with anger at Yosef and likely is going to make Yosef angry. Moreover, I'm going to skip ahead a pasuk and we'll come back to the rest of Rashi here. Yehudah begins his speech by reminding Yosef about how Yosef had asked about their family. He says, Adoni sha'alat avadav lemor, hayesh lachem avawach. My master, meaning you, Yosef, you asked about whether we have a father or a brother. Right? That's how we wound up in this situation where you heard that we have an elderly father and a brother in Canaan, and you wanted us to bring that brother down to prove our story. So you're the one who asked about that. Now that's just true factually, right? I mean, if we look in the original story, it's a little bit complicated in terms of who first mentioned that they had a brother, but it certainly is true that Yosef has asked about their family before. It doesn't have to be disrespectful. But says Rashi, what did Yehudah mean by bringing up the family history? He meant, mitchila ba'alila bata alenu. You came at us from the beginning, ba'alila. Alila is used for like a libel or an accusation. You came looking to make accusations at us. You were looking for an excuse to harm us. Lama hayalacha lish'ol kol eleh. Why did you have to ask us all these questions about our family background? Bitcha heinu mevakshim, achotinu ata mevakesh. Were we interested in your daughter? Like, were we trying to marry off one of us to your daughter? Or were you interested in your sister? And you got Yosef, you were asking about our background as if we were trying to make like an old-fashioned arranged marriage, a shidduch, between two families. So then it makes sense if you're trying to marry off your sister or marry off your daughter, you're going to want to ask all kinds of questions about the groom. Who's his father? How many brothers does he have? What's his family like? But all we wanted to do is buy grain. There was a famine, we wanted to buy food. We come to buy food and suddenly you start asking us about our family background. I mean, is that normal? In a business, does the business owner ask his customers all about their family background? Does he care how many fathers or brothers they have? So Yehudah is basically saying here, Yosef, the fact that you asked us about our family means you somehow were looking to pick a fight with us, right? You asked us questions that you would not normally ask of people who just came to buy food in your country. And so he's implying over here the whole fact that in this situation where Binyamin is with them is all because Yosef was trying to make trouble with them. It's a polite way of saying Yosef was trying from the beginning to falsely accuse them of stuff. And so that's a very serious charge to make against someone. You're speaking again to the second most powerful man in Egypt, and you're saying to him, listen, you just picked a fight with us unjustly and started looking for excuses to make up bogus charges against us. Moreover, Rashi lists, in the previous pasuk, lists several other midrashim, which are not the simple meaning of the pasuk, but really imply that Yehudah was trying to threaten Yosef. Right? So to this point, Rashi is basically saying that Yehudah knew he's saying stuff that could be rude and make Yosef angry. By beginning the story with Yosef inquiring about their family, he's making Yosef seem like someone who was looking for an excuse to get them in trouble, looking to interrogate them even though they didn't do anything wrong. And we had noted Yehudah tried to sound polite by telling Yosef, you're like Paro, which at face value is a very respectful thing to say. You're not the actual king, but you're like the king, because you're the number 2 guy in the country. Chashuva ta be'enai kamelach. You're important in my eyes, or considered in my eyes like a king. Zehu pshuto. That's the simple meaning, says Rashi, the pshat. But Rashi adds, Midrasho, the Medrash, and Breshit Rabbah, takes this as much more of a threat or a criticism. Says the Medrash, what did Yosef really mean when he said, you're like Paro? Sofchadul kotalav b'tzarat, k'mon shalaka Paro, al yedei zekenati. Sarah, alayla achat shikva. You're eventually going to get struck with tzarat for what you're doing to Binyamin, just like Paro was punished, was afflicted with illness for what he did to my grandmother Sarah for just one night. Right? We know that Sarah was taken to Paro's palace because Paro thought she was Avram's sister rather than his wife. And the Torah told us, Vayinaga Hashem at Paro. Hashem gave Paro a nega, a plague. He made Paro sick. So Rashi says when Yehudah is mentioning Paro here, he's dropping a subtle hint to the fact that the last time that an Egyptian leader messed with our family, God defended us and made that person sick. And so even though Yehudah is trying to sound polite here and say, I respect you like I respect a pharaoh, there's this subtle reminder that our family has a history with pharaohs and that God sticks up for us and punishes those pharaohs. Moreover, דבר אחר, מה פרעה אינו גוזר ומקיים, מבטיח ואינו עושה, אף אתה כן. Moreover, says the Medrash, another way in which he's comparing him to Paro is saying that Paro had a history of making decrees which he did not fulfill. He promises and doesn't keep his word. So too, Yosef, you don't keep your word. Because you said, bring down Binyamin and I'll take care of him. I'll take a look at him. Yosef had said, bring down Binyamin, ve'asima eini alav. I'll place my eye upon him. Says Yehudah, you call this putting an eye on Binyamin, keeping an eye on him? You're trying to enslave him. You made it sound like you want to do something nice for our brother if you meet him, and now you're trying to enslave him. Now, it's not entirely clear when Paro lied. We haven't yet learned about anything that Paro lied about here, and so this line actually bothers a lot of the Meforshim on Rashi, a lot of the Rashi commentaries. So some of these later Meforshim who comment on Rashi, they suggest that as part of Egypt being a place where everyone could buy food, Paro had promised that whoever came to buy would be treated respectfully like a customer. And obviously that was not our experience, says Yehudah, because we came here to buy food and we were not treated respectfully. So just like Paro lied to us, because Paro promised that food customers, food shoppers would be treated well, and we're not treated well, so too, you also don't keep your word, because you said you would treat Binyamin well when he came down here, and now you want to make him a slave. And Davar Acher, one more interpretation Rashi quotes from the Midrash, Ki chamocha kefaro, you're like Paro, im takniteni arog otcha v'et adonecha. This is the most threatening. Yehudah says, if you act hostile towards me, act hatefully towards me, takniteni, I'm going to kill you and your master. As he's comparing Yosef to Paro to say, look, in general, you think you have all this power because you're the number 2 person under Paro. I'm warning you, I'm a really tough guy. I'm not even scared of Paro, so you think you're so great, you're Paro's deputy? If I feel threatened enough, I'll kill you and Paro. Nobody scares me. And so to sum up, when Yehudah compares himself to Paro, he compares Yosef to Paro, the simple pshat is he's saying, I respect you like I respect the king. But Rashi quotes 3 ways in which this is actually a disrespectful thing to say. Either saying that a previous Paro was punished when he messed with Sarah, my grandmother, so too you're no more powerful than that Paro, you can also be punished by our God. Or to be calling Yosef a liar, to say Paro was a liar, although it's not exactly clear where, but Paro was a liar somewhere, and so too you're a liar. Or the most extreme threatening thing, Yosef is being told here, I don't care that you work for Paro, even Paro doesn't scare me. I'll kill both of you if you don't back down. In all these ways, Rashi and the Midrash are reshaping our image of Yehudah here. Instead of Yehudah being this respectful, courteous leader, he's threatening Yosef like this violent, aggressive leader of the family. And we asked over here, which way makes Yehudah more impressive? I don't know that there's a right or wrong answer to that question, but we tried to develop this idea in class that perhaps these 2 views, the pshat of Rashi and the midrashim that he quotes, actually can coexist. Perhaps what's going on here is what often goes on with diplomats. Right? A diplomat comes out of some meeting and says, well, I had a frank conversation with our partners in the region. And what he really means is I told some of the countries that they're our partners, they're not really our friends, because they're not really our friends. And I had a frank, honest conversation with them is a nice way of saying I told them what I really think about them, and I'm really upset with them. And so the diplomat, at face value, sounds very courteous. I had a frank conversation with my partners, and he really means I told the people I don't like how much I don't like them and what I don't like about them. And perhaps so too here, Yehudah at face value has to be courteous to Yosef, because Yosef's the number 2 guy in Egypt, but boiling beneath the surface, below these courteous words is Yehudah's anger and aggressiveness.